Hey, hello. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. How's everyone?
Good evening. We are good. How about you?
Absolutely fine. Thank you, Faiz, for joining in. I thought maybe I was alone in the room.
Good evening.
Hello, hello. See, if it's possible for everyone to chip in with their cameras, that would be excellent so that I can have a very good interactive session because this session is, going to be successful with your participation and support. Um, if you have some background noise or disturbance, it's good to stay connected over chat. Um, that is absolutely fine. But if you can just quickly join me on camera, that would be excellent. If not, no restrictions, no compulsions. We're good. Otherwise, as well. Um, Thank you, Jason. Appreciate it. Got something for you, I think. Yeah. All right. I think we are all set to move forward with the session. In case we are all set, can I have a thumbs up from everyone? Yeah, now the screen looks good. Wonderful. Thank you, folks. Thank you very much. All right. A quick introduction about me. So myself, Nitin Ahuja, you know the name on the screen. Um, the original host of this meeting, Pranav Dubey, is my friend for over a decade now. We started with each other like way back in 2010, and this partnership has been going strong ever since. Personally, I am working with the event management company at the moment, and we manage their clients event externally and internally, like on the site, over Zoom calls, over client calls extensively. Apart from this, I've worked with American Express for like good 5.5 years. And if I'm not really at work, I teach. So I'm very passionate about teaching chemistry, physics, um, not mathematics. So mathematics is not my strong point. But yeah, jack of all trades, master of none. So I can teach you everything up to +2 level, but I'm not really a master who can take you to IIT and something like that. No, that's not my specialty. Um, Other than this, I'm very fond of cooking and eating. That's about me personally, and I think I've said enough about myself. Um, Question for each one of you, and it would be glad if anyone can take the initiative here and let me know. I think the objective of this session is to have some discussion about resume building. That's the broader objective that we have in mind today. And yes, of course, how do you get a job interview? How do you do job searches? Um, that's what mm, I think that's what overall is the agenda of the meeting today. But that's my side of the story. I would like to know your perspective as well. So if any one of you can take a lead, and maybe if I can have responses chipping in of what are your expectations with this session? What are you expecting out here? Anyone?
So good evening, sir.
Hey, big reading.
The expectation, like I expect here to learn how to build the resume, how to interact with the managers in the interview, to learn knowledge about communication skills, personal development skills. I think that I exactly to learn here to join here. I think maybe it. Can you hear me,
Perfect.
sir?
Sorry.
Can you hear me? I'm
Yes,
audible.
yes, I can. I can certainly hear you. That's very well articulated, Check, and I do appreciate your inputs. I think yes, that's the overall thought process that we have in our minds. To learn a few tips and techniques about how to land a job or interview, how to really build a good, decent resume. Because if there is one job position that's available in the market, there are like 100, if not 1,000 or 10,000 applicants who are waiting to get that job. And how do I or my resume speaks in a way that I end up getting that interview call, to say the least, right? Because that's where the process starts. So thank you for your inputs there. We'll move on to the next one. Anyone else who would want to chip in?
Yeah, hi, I'm Meenakshi. So I would want to know about job transition. How would it go? Like currently I work for a bank domain and I want to get transition into data science domain. So
Mhm.
how would it be for me? Like, what are the aspects that I have to keep in mind when building a resume, or when like the complete process of a job transition?
Hmm.
So if you could help on that, it would be great.
Excellent, Meenakshi. That's actually very well said. So in case you're working with a banking sector and probably you are into client management, how do you transition yourself um, from, let's say, a client management domain to a data science, business analytics kind of a domain? And this is actually kind of a buzzword in the market right now, because most of us are seeing that, and it's actually very true as well, that data is the new buzzword. Every job in the market in the near future is going to get data driven, right? um, we are also pieces of data for a certain company like Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter. We are nothing but data sets, right? There's no human emotion attached in their organization for us, but we are data points, and they analyze and they throw us the Instagram posts and the Facebook post basis the data analysis that they do on our recent searches and search history. So I think with this data analytics and business analytics domain picking up a lot of heat, um, a transition is something I think we all are looking at. Personally, even I am learning a couple of tools to transition myself more into the analytics domain. So that's a question that we'll definitely discuss in due course of time. Thank you, Meenakshi, for pointing that out. Okay. Do we have anyone else to provide in with the inputs? Probably the last one before we move forward.
Sir, can you make the screen visible for you?
I am not sharing anything at the moment.
No, no, sir. I can't see your face clearly.
Oh, is
No,
it good?
perfect. No, perfect.
Hello.
It's nice.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right. Anyone else who would want to add in with their inputs or their expectations from this session? And then maybe we can move forward. And if we do not have any other responses coming in, I'll start.
Sir, it's I comment in chat box I message that C6H12O6 formula of glucose only, no, sir.
Chat. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Harish. More of a freshers profile advisory is what you are looking at. Noted. Thank you. Sheikh, I think I'll have to get back to you on this. What is C6H12O6? Abu, can you help me with that?
C6H12O6 chemical formula of glucose, sir.
That's okay.
Before you start that, I am a chemistry professor, so I've just pinged that.
Okay, let me know if it's glucose or fructose.
And maybe it's a glucose only. Fructose 1632, I think. H32.
No, you're wrong.
H12 is H6.
Okay, so I'll tell you this here. Sorry, we are deviating from the discussion at the moment. Sheikh, glucose and fructose, they both are basically biomolecules, and glucose is a aldohexose, so it's a aldehydic compound, and your fructose is a ketohexose. But the chemical formula is C6H12O6 for both of them. You can refer that back to NCRT class 12 part 2, I think
Yes, sir.
chapter 15 biomolecules.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That was a good one. Okay, I think we're boring other people at the moment, so I'll quickly switch on to the screen sharing and okay. Is everyone able to see my screen?
Yeah, sir.
Perfect. So that's what we have in our minds: how to really land a job interview, how to get successful in the job interview. So we have a limited time in this particular session today. I have a hard stop at 6, and the later half of my session you will see another face chipping in, not just me. So we have like one more person who'll give you a couple of more tips, um, and that would be my partner Sakshi. She has worked with Naukri.com for a good number of years, and she carries an overall experience of approximately 10 years. So she has seen all those struggles, and she knows the backside of the story. How does it really happen, or how does it really work when you upload a certain profile in Naukri.com, and how does it moves within the search engine to be picked up by the HR who's gonna give you a call and say, hey, we saw your resume online, would you be interested in applying for this position, right? So how do you get that call? She knows the backside of it, and I think probably the best candidate to share the insider's perspective. So she'll join us in a few minutes time, and I think she'll take it up from there. um, all right, let's really start from ground zero at the moment. See, resume is something that's gonna be your speaking point till the time you don't really hit that job interview. uh, to give you an example, till the time you don't really get an interview call, or you get up on a Zoom call, Skype call, enter into a building, sit in front of a manager and highlight what you have in terms of your awards, experiences, skill set, your educational qualification, your resume is something that's speaking on behalf of you. So it should be something that's crisp, precise, and catchy, right? It should meet all these three criterias. Now, majority of you did share across your resumes, and it had an experience set ranging from zero, so people who are just beginning, to all the way people who have like 10 years of experience in their kitting at the moment. The only thing that really I found a little bit structurally deficient in all of those resumes, that they were extending into pages and pages and pages. Now you tell me, I am a person from human resources, and I have done some BBA sort of a degree, right? Bachelor in Business Administration. But the hiring manager, sorry, the operations team from the organization has given me a job profile, a job description, that is asking me to hire for a data scientist, for a business analyst, for a blockchain developer, or for some other profile for which I have absolutely no clue, because my qualification as a human resource manager, or as a human resource employee, is to just churn the resumes and hand it back to operations, like, these are the probable list of candidates. Hypothetically speaking, I have 20 job positions for a given data analyst or a data scientist role, and when the job position goes live, I receive approximately 2000 applications. So my job role is limited to filtering those 2000 resumes, make it a quick 200 kind of a number, 100 200 kind of a number, and send it back to operations for further review. That's all, right? I really do not know who you are, or what data analytics is, or what Python is, or what Java is, um, because I just don't have that kind of skill set. I've never learned it, right? Had I had that kind of knowledge, I would be into that field. I would not be doing a human resource job. So your resume should actually match the job description that you see in the profile for which you are looking forward to apply. If you cannot have same meal continuously for months and weeks, the same resume would not be applicable for different job roles that you apply. Each job role has its unique job description. Even though structurally your resume remains the same, but every time you apply for a job, your resume needs to be updated each time to match the job description. So to speak, in your experience, in your awards, in your skill set, the keywords that you identify in that particular job description should be beautifully sprinkled across, should be spread across in that resume, so that your recruiter who's filtering your profile as a step one knows very well that this is probably one of the fit candidates to go ahead in the next round. Questions around this? Okay, I'll take that as a no and move on. Give me 1 second, guys, please. Right. Now comes the other part. Since majority of you already shared your resume, I did ran through them and I had a quick cursory look, not a detailed analysis so far. But what I found out is, see, there is a set of information which is very relevant for the resume for the job role that you're going to apply for. And then there are pieces of information which should not be present in a resume altogether. For instance, majority of us have mentioned our marital status, the languages that we know. See, if it comes to the programming languages that you know, you're more than welcome to add a ton of them. If you probably know 20 different programming languages that have been invented thus far, please make sure that you mention all of them, because that is relevant to your to the job description and that is relevant to your profile. But if you know 5 different languages and you're not applying for a language kind of a role where you are translating X to Y, please do not mention that you know A, B, C, D, E languages. I am myself proficient in like 4 different languages, but there is no point discussing that picking up that point. Reason being, it's completely irrelevant to the job profile that I'm applying for. If it's relevant to your profile, make sure that you include it. And then you have to highlight it. I'm not only proficient in terms of speaking Hindi, but English, but Spanish, French, German. Make sure that you include it only if you're applying for a translator or a job role that demands you to be proficient in multiple languages. Our marital status. See, none of the organization has got to do business with that. I'm married or unmarried. That should have no bearing or no implication of how I perform in the company, of whether I'm eligible for this job or not. It's as simple as it is, especially when it comes to our kind of profiles, analytics, data scientist. It's completely irrelevant to mention your marital status. Hobbies. I think that's a bygone era. That concept where you mentioned that I'm fond of swimming, cycling, jogging, cooking, we are done with that era. So if you're mentioning all those pieces of information, you are making your resume redundant in the market, because someone who's screening your profile is actually aware that you've copied content from somewhere and pasted it as it is. If you have done something that's exceptionally well in terms of sports or extracurricular activities, this is the additional information that you would want to bake in. Once you have added all other relevant pieces of information and it's visible to the one who's going to screen your profile, only then these additional pieces of information would come in, right? In our agenda today, the expectations with this session, we have already discussed that. Build tips and techniques, we are working on that at the moment. The relevant information, again, a work in process. So these 2 points, the pointers second and third, they'll go in concurrently. So we'll keep switching back between these two. The fourth and the fifth is specifically the other presenter would take up with you in discussion. Okay, comes to a very relevant point on building up the resume. Let me quickly show this to you in terms of how a resume should look like. And this is probably not the best fit, and I want you to identify mistakes by looking at this resume. Okay, can everyone see the screen where you have this PDF opened up with Akshay Gaba as the name? Oh, that's Chrome browser. Okay, I'm hoping that everyone is able to see the screen with somebody's profile picture and that name popping up with Akshay Gaba. It's kind of a resume that I have in place. Can I have a thumbs up on that, please? Perfect. Thank you, people. Okay. Now, if you just have a cursory look on this resume, like, just a cursory look, not a detailed look. And if you scroll down to the bottom, you see these all pieces of information: date of birth, language is known, father's name, mother's name, marital status. This is completely irrelevant. Nothing to do with a professional resume. It's just occupying additional space. Now, the other thing is, if I have to build up a resume, and I think this is a problem with majority of the resumes that you see across on Naukri.com and several other job search engines, is that everything is left aligned. Are we really using the space that's available on the right hand side? Are we optimizing space utilization so as to make it a crisp one-page resume? No, because everything belongs to a left side alignment. There's nothing right in terms of space utilization that's happening on the right hand side. This thing, the photograph that has been embedded here, is completely from the bygone era. This is irrelevant. It's just occupying space in your resume, and it does not really meet the updated requirements of a good resume. So we got to remove this. Now, the other thing is Akshay Gaba and then phone address, email. If you see, a quarter of a page has just gone and displaying this piece of information. The See, even if you're mentioning the address, in terms of putting in the address, the state to which you belong might still make a sense. But if you mention, house number ABC, Nagar Palika, this, then that, then followed by the pin code, zip code, you're just, putting up some very redundant, unrequired, unimportant piece of information on the resume. Your LinkedIn profile, your email address, these are two very critical pieces of information. And Akshay Gaba should follow with some professional title. So to speak, Akshay Gaba is an agile learner. Akshay Gaba is, has excellent communication skills. Akshay Gaba has led or has worked on project management. So just below the name, I should see a couple of skills that help me understand who Akshay Gaba is and generates a sort of interest for me to pick up his resume. The other thing that's very critically wrong with this resume is if you are able to identify that this candidate is experienced, right? So the candidate has actually worked with Royal Bank of Scotland and has worked with this organization Fabric Stream, and he has done a relevant amount of work in the field, right? In terms of analyzing the data and stuff. But at the moment, the first piece of information that I see on his resume is education details. And this is wrong. If you are an experienced professional, if you have some years of work experience, you got to make sure that you put in your work experience first, and that too in the chronological order. So the name of the organization, the tenure with that organization, so that, so to speak, I worked with American Express from April 2016 to August 2021. Put that in brackets, and then you mention what did you do in your job profile. That's where the actual catch comes in. So as a person who's looking for that new job, when you explain that this all is something that I've worked with Royal Bank of Scotland, now this needs to be modified, this needs to be restructured, and this needs to be aligned with the job description that you have in hand. Of course, because you have worked in that parallel job earlier, you are definitely proficient for that job description, but that job description will have its own requirements, right? So in your language, it would ask you should be proficient in terms of X, Y, and Z languages. You should have a knowledge of blockchain development, artificial intelligence, machine learning. So I need to sprinkle all those keywords in terms of my experience. And these many bullet points in terms of experience is again irrelevant. It should be again short, crisp, and precise, explaining what I've done so far. If you have had the opportunity of moving up the ladder while you were at the organization, separate this. So I joined in as an operations analyst, and then I went on to become a business analyst or a senior business analyst. What was my job role when I was a senior business analyst? Help me with some more information around it. If you have led a team or if you have worked on a certain project, make sure that you highlight that. and connect it back to the job description that you have in hand. Now, this is again the alignment error. If the candidate has knowledge of these many computer literacy skills, or so to speak languages, I should see them right at the top somewhere here, where I have a blank space on the right hand side. Because in our field, in analytics field, it's the languages and the expertise that I hold over these languages, any patents, any kind of awards that I must have won in a codathon, in a hackathon, is something that makes all the more difference when my resume is being screened with 1,000 other candidates for maybe 10 jobs that are available on offer at the moment, right? So make sure that you align it better. I'll quickly give you a demo of what I was thinking about, or what was in my mind. So this is something that I just picked up randomly from Google Docs. Let me know and share your, in case anyone has to share an input or a thought here. If you see, is this not a better way to provide me information about yourself? So if I mention Akshay Gaba, I'm an agile learner. Um, is it not being edited? Yep. So I'm an agile learner. I am tech enthusiast. Vlogger, if you ever want to mention that. So this is something that entices my interest. The keywords that I see here, and again, you can modify those keywords to match the job description. If the job description says that the person should have leadership skills along with the analyst skills, you can mention here leadership skills, right? This thing, if the address is concise enough, make sure you mention it. Otherwise, your email address, your LinkedIn profile, your Skype profile, and at the moment, I guess Zoom profile is more than enough for you to move forward. Do not end up adding irrelevant information like your marital status and stuff. Now, it should always be structured like this. So I have this experience, my company, location, and the job title, the tenure, and then my experience details, and again followed by the second or the third company. In case you have just one company, and you have worked with that company for a good number of years, then I think this section would have this section at the top, and then followed by a good length of details. Because if you were in the organization for a sufficient amount of time, I'm sure that there was a vertical movement for you, and you need to display it separately within this one major column, where you're mentioning that I was a part of the, let's say, Amazon, and I started off as a business analyst and I went on to become a senior business analyst, right? And then education. See, if you are a person, now this would vary. This is going to vary, of course. If you are a person who has like 6, 7, 8 years of experience, 5+ years of experience, just mention the latest qualifications that you have in hand. You have acquired an MSc from somewhere, you have acquired a BSc from somewhere, you have done a internship, or sorry, not an internship, but you have done some certificate course in terms of analytics and data science very recently. Make sure that you enter in those details. Your school percentage, that's no longer required. In case you are a fresher, and I think I'll circle back to a few people who mentioned that we are just starting off with their careers, this is where your education section details comes very, very relevant. Make a kind of a Excel column out here displaying your 10th, 12th, and graduation, and again in the chronological order, starting with your graduation. Let's move even a step before that: post graduation, graduation, the 12th and the 10th experience, the percentages or the CGPA that you've received. And the next section should speak about any projects, seminars, paper presentations, webinars that you might have attended, or the awards that you might have collected in those. And for people who are experienced, the section on the right hand side, this is where you should tell me about your languages. If you know Java, Python, R, and a host of other languages, make sure that you make a different font, and you display me all those languages here, because that's going to be the deal breaker, right? specifically in your field, that's where the actual deal breaker comes into picture. Any awards that you must have received either in your um, either in your work profile or while you were in your college or in your school, make sure that you mention those awards and recognitions here. Languages, again, I feel that this is a very irrelevant setup in case you are not applying for a language based role. Any questions around this thus far? Okay, I see.
If I am fresher, I will start with the education details or otherwise.
Yes, if you are a fresher and if you do not hold any kind of experience thus far, make sure that your education details come on top, followed by any kind of you know coding or hackathon or any kind of internships that you have done thus far, that also reflect just below your educational qualifications, and any kind of awards or any kind of projects that you have been appreciated upon with a certificate of appreciation attached, make sure that comes in. And this actually, Sheikh, thank you so much for pointing that out. This actually brings me to a very good point. So for those of you who have shared your resumes, I was running through them and I observed one resume which has a list of approximately 40 different awards that the candidate has collected thus far. 36 to 40 different awards and certificates. Um, Please bear in mind that this is not an essay writing competition where the minimum word length is to be 5,000 words. No, that's not the agenda. I need something that is restricted to one page at best. If you really have that tenure, that length of experience, that you started off maybe in 2010 and now it is 2021, so you are holding 11 years of experience, make sure that you cut down maybe the very first job that you have held off, because that information is now becoming redundant. It's becoming completely redundant. If it comes up during discussion in your job interview that you have mentioned that you have 10 years of experience, but on the letter I can see only 5 or 7, make sure that you present them that yes, prior to this it was an entry level job, or that's where the beginning of my career was, and you can discuss it verbally, and of course you will be able to support it with documents in case you are able to successfully sail through the interview, right? But do not end up stretching this section or any other section, or even the award section. Make sure that you pick up a few elite 4, 5, 6 good awards that you must have received, but not mention the entire list of whatever you've done in your life so thus far. I do not need to know about your entire life history. I just need the important bullet points for me to move forward. Okay, I think too much of a download at the moment. Okay, there is one more thing that I analyzed out of reading multiple number of profiles that you guys have shared. Of course, most of the resumes have not been proofread. For example, the engineering college from which you have graduated happens to be Shriram College of Commerce, right? Shriram Engineering College. But the S in that Shriram College of Commerce, S, R, E, C, are all written in small letters. This is one resume, and if I am one of you know the low level hiring employee who's just screening your resume, I'm going to reject it upfront. I have identified a couple of spelling mistakes in a few resumes, and I'll make sure that I share it across with Pranav, and those resumes are circled back to you. Because if your resumes are not grammatically accurate, forget about the job role. Like, forget about even getting considered. If you have not proofread your resumes, and if you are not sure about what you have written in a resume, please do not upload them to a job portal, because the chances are that your resume is going to get blacklisted altogether, right? You may not be considered for even future profiles that may pop up in the organization. So make sure that you proofread your resume, and once everything is set in order, only and only then update it. This is one format. The one that you see on your screens right now is available on Google Docs free of cost. Make sure that you download this format. To me, this is something that looks very relevant in the market right now, because I see a lot of good space utilization. I have my information, some crisp keywords about myself, my contact information, my skills, my awards, my professional experience, my educational experience, everything baked in onto one page, where I'm just using the space available in page, um, to make it a good crisp one page resume, right, rather than extending it, elongating it into a 2.5 page resume, because I just don't have the time to scroll down. If I have to screen approximately 2000 applications, I'm not just going to scroll down on every application. If I see something matching to the job description on the first page itself, on the opening page itself, that's where I'm going to give you a thumbs up and move you to the next level. All right, let me quickly. Sure. Link. Let me know if the link works. In case you face any issues, we'll certainly join back. Oh, we see Pranav in the meeting right now. Hello.
Yeah, hi Nitin. Thanks for initiating.
Hi sir,
Without
good evening.
yeah,
Hi sir,
My
good evening.
pleasure.
good evening, Sheikh.
Okay. All right. So I think I'm pretty much done with whatever I had to discuss in for the day. There is one very important tip that I want to share with each one of you. And I think Pranav and me, we both are victims. And each one of us who's holding like 7 to 8 years of experience, like people who graduated in the year 2010, 2011, compared to those who are going to graduate or have graduated recently, 2019, 2018. Um, please make sure that you keep a diary, an internal track record of what you do in your professional career as you move forward. This is going to be a step by step exercise where you keep a track record of what you have done so far. I have done a lot of things when in my professional career thus far, but the reason I'm not able to showcase them is because I never maintained a track record of them. I duly remember I recalled working on a project with some very higher up in the management while I was at American Express, but I cannot really recall the details of what happened on that project because I never maintained a track record around it. So as you move forward in your careers, and this is a very important, very critical point for all the freshers who we have in the meeting, um, please moving forward, like this internship is one break in your career point. Your graduation is one break in your career point. As you start and you get onboarded with an organization, what are some of the key things that you do in your day-to-day job role? Make sure that you keep a record of it. And again, circling back to everything, data is the key word. So if you can quantify that I worked from this in this organization from this to this, and I got a CTC raise from, let's say, X to Y, which was a hike of maybe 200% in a 2 year time frame, that's an excellent job. You need to maintain these numbers. While I was at the job, the initial data churn rate or the initial, whatever happens in your job profile, make sure that you quantify it and keep a good track record of it, because this is something that will go back into your resume, and you will be much more confident when taking up this resume you appear for an interview. I'll give you an example here. So there was a friend of mine who used to do a lot with the not who was, but he is a friend of mine, who was into very much into digital marketing. So people who provide support to these Instagram follow, sorry, what do you call them? I don't know the technical term. Pranav, you need to help me with this. Influencers, yes, social media influencers. Yeah, bang on. Sorry, guys. We two bald people, I think our knowledge on social media is very low. We need to work on that. Um, so he used to collaborate with social media influencers and companies and bring them, these like so to speak, influencers, and connect these influencers to some organizations who wanted to brand their product. Like there are a few Instagram people who are very, very famous at the moment, who got like 2 million, 3 million followers. And you see them that they promote a certain cosmetic brand, you see them a clothing line, you see them promoting n number of items. And this is something that he was doing as a freelancer for a good 2-year time frame. He recently got picked up by a very renowned firm into a digital marketing profile, and at a very decent package. Reason being, whatever he did in the last 2 years, he kept a track record of it. So he had an entire case built around how to do effective digital marketing, and he actually showed them, showed it while being in the interview, that I made X social media influencer to connect with company Y, and all of a sudden their product B had a jump in their sales volume, shooting up from 5,000 products, in a month to 15,000 in a month. And he had kept quantified track records of each success experience that he had built up. Like, so imagine the volume that he had to share across in his resume, or to share across with the interviewer. um, I think with just 2 years of experience, and that too as a freelancer, he was picked up by a very renowned firm. I'll not disclose the name here, obviously for confidentiality reasons. For a annual remuneration, and I've seen the offer letter, so I can be confident on that, of 15 lakh rupees per annum. And that's a very decent package by any standards. By any standards, because he's still an entry level player in digital marketing and no such qualification. He's not an IIT graduate or a MSc marketing. No, we're not talking about that. But because he maintained a track record, a quantifiable track record of what he had done so far, he was able to use it to make sure that it gives him monetary benefit. And that would happen in due course of time with all of you as well. Okay, guys, I think I've said a lot. The room is open for questions at the moment. And in case we don't have questions from me, I'll have my wife Sakshi chip in for a few more tips on how to search for jobs, the actual part of the story now. Anyone? All right, I'll take that as a no. Sorry. Sakshi will join you in 2 minutes, right?
So I have a question. Nowadays, the people are more talking about portfolio. So may I know about like detail? I don't have any idea about that. I just want to know about that portfolio.
Sanjay, I believe Nitin is not around, so let's talk on that when he comes back, or maybe when Sakshi appears. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, hi everyone. Hi Pranav.
Hi, Sakshi.
Hi. Well, my name is Sakshi Narula, and I have an industry experience of 10 years now. Worked with different brands and gave interview at many more different brands. So have been giving interviews for a very long time now, and I will not take your time with the introductions and with telling more about myself, because it doesn't matter. I'll honestly jump right to the point, and I'll start discussing what you can do right to find the perfect job for yourself easily. So the first part is, how will your resume get selected? That's what I wanted to discuss with all of you. See, there's one person who's looking for a job, like all of you. You are one human being who's looking for a job, but at one point of time when you're trying to apply for a job and you're going on LinkedIn or Naukri.com or other portals, you see that there are 10,000 other people who are looking for the exact same job that you are at one point of time. And out of these 10,000 people who are applying for same jobs in same companies, they have similar experience as yours, and probably they have a similar background or a similar, study or history. Then how will your resume get selected? Let me give you a trick about that. Let's consider that there is a huge pile of about 10,000 resumes stacking one over the other. And we have a new job opening that was just posted at like 8:23 p.m. today. It's from a fantastic company, let's say Amazon or let's say Mercer. And it's into your field and you're very much interested. So you quickly open your profile and you start applying for the job, and within 1 minute you've applied for it. You're very happy. You're probably one of the top 10 people to apply for it. That's a good thing, but the job opening is still there on the portal for the next 10 days. Right, so once you open it after 10 days, you see at the top right corner on Naukri.com, it says that how many applicants so far. So you see that 9,998 people have already applied for this job in the last 10 days. And out of this stack of resumes who are trying to apply for this one, your resume, since you applied the first, is at the bottom in the top first 10 resumes because you applied the earliest. But that doesn't mean the top one will get selected. It only means that the top one is still fresh. Well, what happens is that afterwards there's an HR in the company. He's trying to pick up all these resumes, not all of them, but he's trying to see that which one should I pick. He's not going to go through those 10,000 resumes. He's not going to waste his time reading all the 10,000 resumes because it doesn't matter to him. He is not from digital marketing profile and he doesn't care who this guy is or who that guy is. For him, all of you or all of us are exactly the same. The 10,000 people. What he's going to do is he's going to pick up the top 50 only, or maybe the top 100, depending on the number of openings. He's going to send that to the ops manager or maybe filter it through some tool that he has inside the company. Then where's your resume? Your resume is gone because it was in the bottom list. Out of the top ones, how do you make sure that you're going to be always at the top of that stack of resumes? How to make sure that your resume is always at the top 10 and not at the bottom 10 of the shelf? Well, for that, there's a very easy trick that many people don't know about. The easy trick is that you just need to keep on refreshing your profiles, the LinkedIn profile and the Naukri.com profile. Just keep on visiting those profiles every day and edit those profiles. I'm not saying, start adding every new things into your resume every day. No, obviously that's not possible. But what you do need to do is that you need to visit these social media accounts and you need to edit the profile and maybe update your resume every day, as in delete the old one and add the same one again. That's okay. Or maybe just delete your phone number and add the phone number again. That's all right. It doesn't matter. Find the easiest thing that you can edit and, stick back again. That will at least refresh your profile and bring it to the top of the stack every day. So whenever any recruiter or any consultant anywhere is trying to pick up some resumes from the top of that shelf, your resume is always going to be there because it would be refreshed. It's just like Google search. So whenever you go on Google search, all those searches that have been searched already in the recent past all across the globe, they come to you much more quicker or on the front page, but all the searches that have never been searched for or are rarely searched for, especially in your area, they go to the 10th page or the 20th page. Nobody goes up to that page to search for the best possible result. We only stick with the first one. So that's the first tip. Second thing is how to cover some bad things or some gaps from your resume. We all know that there are bad things that we have in the CV that we cannot delete, but we still need to shadow, or there are gaps in the CV that we need to cover up somehow. You cannot lie in a CV, that's obvious, so don't ever go that route. But how to cover up those bad things or those gaps? For that, the trick is that whenever there's a gap or whenever there's a bad stuff, you need to write the good story. You need to write the good things about it. You can write that you were on an internship. You were helping an NGO or working in an NGO, participating in one. You can mention that you were attending seminars or hosting seminars. You can mention the volunteer work that you have done. Mention the same thing in a completely different manner. It's just the beautification. You need to know how to beautify the same thing. So let me tell you one thing. We all have had the Sasti Wali candies from the market. Some candies are like 50 paise. Even in today's market, you can buy the cheapest candy for 50 paise per candy. And then there's dairy milk. That's quite expensive, 50, 100 rupees, 150 rupees. And if you go for something like Ferrero Rocher, that's going to cost you 500 for only 10 small pieces of chocolate, and 1000 or maybe 1200 for 20 of those chocolates. It's a big box that we gift on Diwali these days. So it's ultimately about the packaging that you do. Inside, if you open the wrapper, it's one and the same thing. It's the 50 paisa chocolate only, and it's the Ferrero Rocher and it's the dairy milk. They're all one and the same. You don't know what is the quality, but you need to make sure that the packaging is nice. So you need to design the resume in such a way that even if there are gaps, even if there are shortcomings, even if there are bad things that we still need to write, like the companies that we have worked for, some of the companies may not be that good or may not be that famous or may have a very bad name in itself that we just need to cover up somehow. So mention the great part about that job that you've learned or that you were involved with, and mention it in such a way that you're very proud of it, that it's a good thing in the resume. Like, yes, you took a 2-year gap, but what were you doing in those 2 years? You were doing a very important volunteer work somewhere and you learned this and this skill. Add that skill there.
I have a question.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm recently using the LinkedIn profile, but now I don't know how to utilize it.
You don't know how to utilize just the LinkedIn portal, the LinkedIn profile?
Yes, ma'am. I just created my profile there, but I don't know how to utilize it to attract the companies and that, like HRs.
Like what to do on the LinkedIn profile that will make your profile shine?
Yes, ma'am.
There is no need to worry. You can simply go on YouTube and you can go on Google and search for the answer. There are many different answers. There are in fact paid services also that LinkedIn is offering these days. You can buy those services also. I don't suggest for it right now. Don't go for it right away. But there are many different ways and many different strategies mentioned on Google and some videos, some very nice videos on YouTube. I'll search for those videos and I'll send it across. Those videos can be very helpful for you. You can learn how to make your profile different or unique, how to beautify your profile, or which section do you need to highlight the most. That is always seen by the recruiter.
Okay, ma'am. What is the difference between the Naukri
And
portal and
LinkedIn.
the link? Yes, ma'am.
Naukri portal is still famous for the old time companies. LinkedIn portal is famous when you are trying to apply for large MNCs that are there, that have just recently opened their service center or their units within India. So LinkedIn is more on a global level and Naukri.com is still on the national level. Personally, I follow up Naukri.com much more than LinkedIn. I think that Naukri.com will save me, and it has always saved me. I was able to always find a job through Naukri and not through LinkedIn. But LinkedIn is the social media website. That means everybody can see your profile. So even if somebody is picking up my resume from Naukri.com and selecting me via Naukri.com, they will still go to LinkedIn just to see my social media profile. How do I keep it updated? So it's important to keep both of them. But LinkedIn is more for connecting with the HRs, with the consultants, to keep updated yourself with the company's news and daily updates. But Naukri.com is the one where you will actually find a job. So it's important to keep both.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. If there are any other questions, please keep on popping in and ask the questions. I don't mind. Now, since you're talking about Naukri and LinkedIn, how important it is to keep these profiles updated. That's the third thing that we're going to discuss. Do I need to update my LinkedIn? Do I need to update my Naukri.com? Yes. Every time, always, even if you are not looking for a job, still keep these updated, because anybody, even in your own company, when they're trying to find out more things about you, they will go on LinkedIn and they will see your profile. Okay, this is the thing that this person has written here, or the person is most active on LinkedIn, or the person has the most updated information about themselves added on LinkedIn. Like in a company, if you have won any kind of an award or a certificate, or if you have participated in some program, or if you are learning new skills, like you are learning the most advanced level of Excel. Let's say, for example, you have gone into some workshop related to macros, and you're learning in depth about it. You need to mention all these skills on LinkedIn. Keep on updating it profile, because people do go there and they stalk you and they find out more information about you. Even if the HR is, absolutely sure, looking at your CV from Naukri.com, that yes, your profile looks good, your CV looks good, they would still want to see that how you showcase yourself in the social media or in the virtual world. And they see that through LinkedIn, because everybody can see that. So it's important to keep both of these profiles updated. Naukri, as I said, keep it updated every day if you are actively looking for a job. Keep on editing the profile every day and adding or deleting at least one piece of information. It doesn't matter which one, but just keep on updating one, so that your CV is always at the top, or your profile is always at the top and not at the bottom of this whole stack. And LinkedIn, I would suggest update it at least once a month. Do not skip it. Now, when you're applying for a job, either on Naukri.com or LinkedIn or Monster, or I don't know, many other portals are there. Job Shine, it used to be there. Now I don't know. Which ones do I approach? Which people do I approach to? Are there any specific kind of openings? On the Naukri and LinkedIn, both of them, on the left hand side, there is a filter always when you're trying to look for jobs. Gives you the option, find the company jobs, find the consultant jobs. Which one should I go for? I am not aware what is a company job and what is a consultant job. Is it like a consultant is giving me a job? Am I going to work with the consultant? Or is the consultant going to ask me for money? So getting confused.
Consulting job means is the person is hiring and viewing to the company by the agreement. I think that.
What do you think? Are they going to charge you also for the job?
No, they make agreement between the company and me, I think.
Right. So the agreement is between the company and the consultant, and what is that agreement and when they are going to get their money, that's none of our concern. The important thing is they are not going to charge us. 99% of the consultants are not going to charge us. Just 1% maybe if you're looking for jobs outside of the country. If you're, some people may be interested in going to UAE or other countries, and there are many consultants, especially in Southex if you are from Delhi. So they help people find jobs in other countries, and they sometimes charge, but otherwise for all the local consultants they do not charge. Now, should I be approaching a consultant, or should I be applying for jobs that are coming from consultants? I would say yes, you must apply for jobs that are coming from the consultant, because if I'm applying for a company job, there's an HR who's working for that company and they have this one specific opening in one specific team. That's why they have published this opening online. I can apply for that one. That's great. Obviously, I need to do that because that's what I'm looking for. But the consultant, this consultant, he is looking for candidates like all of you, because that's his daily bread and butter. That's how he earns his money. He's going to get candidates like you and me, and he's going to get us a new job, and that's how the company is going to pay that consultant after 3-4 months or 6 months or something. And that's how he is going to earn money. And not just that, there can be consultants who are looking only for people who are into finance background. There are consultants who are only looking for people into digital marketing or into customer service and into other things like that. So since you are looking for jobs in your own field, the consultants you're going to find in the search, or you can otherwise do a Google search also to find these consultants. These consultants, they are only looking for people like you who have 0 to, let's say, 5 years of digital marketing experience. So they will always be looking for people like you. If not today, maybe they don't have a job, or maybe I did not get selected. But ultimately, they are still looking for people like us for the next opening. Maybe after 10 days, 20 days, but they still need us and we need them. So always keep a good relationship with the consultant. If you find a good consultant, if you find a good rating of that consultant or that company on Google, keep on following up with them. If they have their numbers, call them personally and tell them that I'm actively looking for a job profile, for a job. Please help me with that. Share the company details that you have or the current openings that you have, or please give me a call back whenever you find the next opening. It's important to. Hanji Priyadarshini.
I have a question. How to approach the HR and LinkedIn for referral?
How to approach the HR on LinkedIn for referral. On LinkedIn, the good thing is that you don't need to call them. You don't need to reach out to them on a phone call or on a WhatsApp. You can simply message them. There is a way that you can send them a message on LinkedIn itself, or some people even leave their email addresses. So that's how you need to reach out to them, that, hi, my name is Priyadarshini, or my name is Sakshi, and I'm actively looking for a job within this field, and I have this much of work experience, or I am a fresher, but I'm highly motivated, and I have completed this internship and this course. Please help me with that. Feel free to reach out to me anytime at this phone number or my email address. That's how we reach out to the HR. That was the next thing I was going to discuss also. These are the cover letters and the personalized emails that we are going to send to our HRs, to our consultants. Why are these cover letters and these personalized emails very important? They are because out of the whole crowd, somebody who can be active enough or approachable enough to reach out to the HR or to the consultant directly via an email. Do not call them unnecessarily because they'll block you. But we can always reach out to them on an email or a message on LinkedIn. There is a way to send messages on Naukri also, but let's not do that. That's not very in these days, but on LinkedIn we can. We need to reach out to them. We need to send our cover letter along with the CV, and we need to send a personalized message. Greetings. Hi, it's very, so if you've had a conversation with them on a phone call, it was very pleasant speaking with you the other day. Or if you're just writing to them for the first time, then you may say that, hope you're doing well. Hope you and your family are well. Things like that. We do need to reach out to them because that shows that out of the 20 people who have applied for the job, this person is putting in an extra effort to reach out to the HR. Or if the HR, maybe a week later, he's trying to just shortlist all the names, or just to see that out of the 20 CVs, am I going to just call 5 people? So he's just trying to filter out of those 20 and pick the 5 people who's going to call. He will remember your name, that yes, last week I received an email from this person. So he will look at your CV very carefully. That's why it's very important to share a cover letter and a personalized email, especially if you are having a human to human interaction, or if you know that this is like Pranav is the responsible person looking for a job, or he is going to shortlist people for this job. Once you know the whole of that person, it's not just a whole team, it's one single person who's going to help me. That's when you can send a personalized email. It's very much helpful. And we were going to mention, the next thing was keywords and job description. I know Nitin already covered a little bit of that. I wanted to discuss this keywords and job description myself as well. That's because what keywords? Like you all have the same technical skill or the same technical background, or maybe very much similar. You all know the common tools that you need to mention in the CV. So what else is different? Let me tell you, if you're looking for a job in multiple companies, like you're actively looking these days, one company may be hiring for Hadoop. One company may be hiring just for advanced Excel, just to create their daily dashboards. One company may be looking for Tableau. And the fourth company may be looking for a jack of all trades because they already have a team set up, but they just want to fill the back seat. Like somebody left, so they're hiring for another person, but they're looking for somebody who can do a mix of all these things because they'll see which team is that person going to go in. Or there can be another example. There can be a huge team in one company with 50 people already doing the same stuff that you are, but the other company can be looking for an IC role. Like you may be one of the 2-3 people who's into the digital marketing sector of that company, or within the marketing team. So you may be only one of those 2-3 people out there. That means that for each and every single job, I cannot have the same CV. I need to create a CV every time I'm applying for a job. The CV will always be different, especially if it's a good company or if it's an important job that you're applying for. You cannot just, send the generic resume over there, but you need to be specific with that resume if you're applying for a specific job, keeping your target in mind that, okay, I'm aiming for this company. But how will that work? Like the company has its own job description. They're looking for certain kind of profile. How will I design my CV accordingly? Or how will I change my CV? Because ultimately it's all the same, na? How would you know if Amazon is looking for this skill set, or if Mercer is looking for this skill set, or if Bank of America is looking for this skill set, Morgan Stanley is looking for this skill set? You need to look at their job description. That's for sure. Now, they may be looking for a certain kind of, or a certain set of people. You need to read that job description very carefully to see that, okay, this company is specifically looking for people who are proficient with Tableau. What you need to do is that within your CV, even if you know all the other skills or all the other languages, you need to highlight Tableau there because they are specifically looking for people who are advanced or who have advanced skills in Tableau. Mention all the other things also, but they will be in the second and the third pointer. In the first, it will be Tableau since they want the person proficient in that. For the next company, if they are looking for an IC role, that means they have a small team and they're looking for one person who can, just fill in that back seat. what to do in that case? You need to mention, I worked as an individual contributor already, or I worked in a short team handling multiple things at the same time. That means it was a very small team, but ultimately the workload was huge. And I was just one of those 2-3 people who used to handle the entire shift on my own. It was not a huge team. Depends on the scenario, which one suiting the requirements the most. That's how we need to modify the CV every time. It's important to do that. And I know it seems very difficult. How will I do that? Looking at the job description, it's very confusing. Well, don't just look at one job description. Look at 10 different job descriptions and see the words that they're using, or see the statements that they're using. Try to mention the similar statements in your CV, which will be matching your profile. Now, do I write small things in my CV? As Nathan also mentioned that it's going to be just a 1-pager or maybe 1.5 pager, or maximum 2 if you're very much experienced, not more than that. We cannot go with the lengthy essays. We need to be absolutely crisp about our words. We're sure of that. But sometimes it's very confusing how to go about it, because when you're looking for a job, you don't know what the competitor has written in their resume. Like if you and me are applying for the same jobs and I know my CV, I have written my CV, or I know the details that I have mentioned in mine, but I don't know the details that you have mentioned in your CV. Your resume may be a little more attractive than mine. So how to see what the other people are writing in their resumes, or how to find out what the other people these days, when they're looking for jobs like these, what are they writing when they're looking for a job? So for that, I'm going to show you a small thing that's easily accessible on Google. I wanted to share that with all of you. So let me quickly search for it and I'll share my screen with you. Yep. So this is Naukri.com. The profile that, or rather the home page of Naukri.com that we all can see. It's the same for all of us.
It's yeah,
yes,
sorry.
Pranav.
Yeah, sorry. It's just a pop-up. I believe that there is a pop-up which is appearing, and you have shared only the pop-up. Maybe might need to stop sharing and then share the window again.
Okay, let's do that. Can you now see the Naukri.com homepage?
Yeah, it's perfect now. Thanks.
Perfect, thank you. Now this is the homepage of our Naukri website. Right now I have not logged in here. As you can see, it's not even logged in. So you can, of course, what I'm trying to say, it's general for everyone. You do not need to log in to see what I'm about to show you. It's free and it's for everyone. What we're trying to see here is, how am I going to see what other people are writing in their resume? So if you scroll down a little bottom to the page, you will come across this section. This is called Services for Recruiters. This section is called Search CVs for Free Now. That means there are many consultants or many small companies or startups that cannot buy the database of Naukri.com that's worth, I think, 1 lakh or maybe 1.2 lakh per month these days. They cannot buy that. Obviously, that's very expensive. So that is the reason why some people, they share their CVs on Naukri.com for free. That means your CV is not visible on Naukri.com for free, but some people, they pay for it. some people, they say that I'm buying a paid service of Naukri.com so that my CV is available on Naukri.com for free for those companies who cannot buy Naukri ka database. This is a section where many people have posted their CVs. It's a paid service, but they have their CVs on this section for startups, for small companies, and for consultants, and for many other companies who are not interested in buying Naukri.com's database. Here, this is called Resdex or freesearch.naukri.com. You can search for CVs here for free. So let me search for a few CVs here. Python. Data science. Is that a good keyword? Let's search for Excel. Advanced Excel. Sorry. And let's search for experience within 0 to 4 years. I assume that you all are within this experience range only, so that's why I've searched for this. By the way, you can mention many other keywords here, many different combinations and many different keywords, or all the keywords, or you can exclude some keywords also. There are many other search criteria that you can search with. People who are looking only in US or outside of US, if they have a work visa, or within the country also. It shows there is one section that you can search state-wise also if you want to. And I'm sorry, I will have to do it this way. Okay. So it's playing a little bit. Let's click on find resumes. Once we have searched for this keyword, we were able to find 7,192 resumes that are actively looking for job. Yes.
And we can't see the what you are doing.
Can you now see it?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. So with those keywords that we entered, with the people ranging from 0 to 4 years of experience, these keywords and experience 0 to 4, I can see that there are 7,192 people who are currently looking for jobs, and they have bought Naukri paid services. Now we can open these CVs also. Like see, Deepesh Juneja, Ashish Singh. These are all real people like you and me. This guy is looking probably in Mumbai or maybe in Ghaziabad. So he's currently in Ghaziabad. This currently in Gurgaon. So he's looking in Noida, Gurgaon. This person is in Bangalore. And this guy is in Chandigarh. These people are all looking for jobs. If I look at this person's CV, Lalita TV, this is kind of a copy of their resume, or if not their resume, then kind of an overall summary or a different version that they've written their resume here. You can see what things have they mentioned while mentioning their projects here, like what things that they have completed in their projects. Similarly, for this guy, Deepesh Juneja, the person who's looking in Gurgaon, we can see his experience here. He has already worked with binary semantics. That is a third party, and that means he was on a third party payroll for Google. So this is what he used to do. He was into some small role here using MX and using analyzation report generation, nothing much here. But then he has mentioned the other company, Omnicom Media Group. Similarly, if we look for Ashish Jain here, this is his work experience till date. This is his qualification. This is how people these days are mentioning their skill sets. So if you're confused about how to make your resume, you can get more ideas from here, or you can get keywords from here. This is the other guy. So you can go to this website, you can look for people who are looking for similar jobs as you are. You can find out their CVs and see how these people are designing their resumes, which keywords are they using, which things are they trying to highlight the most. And that's how we can make our own CV. It would be very much helpful. Perfect. These are the things that I wanted to share with all of you. Well, this is all from my side. Please tell me if there are any questions or any doubts that I can help you all with. Is there any other doubt, any question that you have that I can help clarify?
Okay, guys, your silence will be taken as as if you don't have any question. If no question, then we can proceed with the closure. And I hope it was really a great session for
Ma'am,
you.
your Naukri profile, ma'am.
Sorry, sir.
Madam's Naukri profile link you want. Can you
Okay.
share your link, ma'am? Naukri profile link.
So I can, but you will not be able to connect with me on naukri.com. So I will share my LinkedIn profile. That's how you can connect with me. On Naukri, you cannot connect with me.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
On Naukri, recruiters usually like it's not like networking platform. That's why on Naukri you will not find, you will see an option to follow. Okay, so maybe you can follow companies, you can follow consultants that would give you notification if they post anything, any job that they post. Otherwise, you are always welcome to connect on LinkedIn. That would be better.
I have a doubt. If there is company hiring from 0 to 4 years, the company optional the company choice is zero fresher or the experience.
Sorry, I did not understand. Can you please repeat the question just once?
If the company is hiring the person from 0 to 4 years range, the experience, the company has a choice to hire the person fresher or the experienced person. Can both.
Okay, so when they are looking for somebody 0 to 4 year of experience, they already know that freshers are going to apply. Otherwise, they would not be searching for 0 to 4. They would be searching for maybe 2 to 4. They have put the 0 in there because they are okay hiring a fresher also. But they are not looking for an experienced person in this case. That means if they wanted an experienced person and not a fresher, obviously they will have the search criteria accordingly, 2 to 4. So they are not looking for somebody who is experienced, but they are looking for somebody who has the general knowledge or who has the basic knowledge to work in this profile, who is serious about this role. And within the 0 to 2 years of experience, I can say that they're looking for somebody who has the general in and out logistics knowledge of how the companies work or how to work in the company or in a professional environment. So they're just looking for somebody with the basic knowledge, and then they will teach that person or give training to that person how to work on their tools or their projects. So they will absolutely be okay hiring a fresher. It's just that you need to show your seriousness. You need to show that, yes, you are actively looking for it. You need to show your professionalism. That's because while going for the interview or while having a virtual interview, your competitors are going to be somebody who is maybe 3 or 4 year experienced already. So they will show that professional side in the interview, that I have worked in this company and that company, and I have managed projects, or I have done the daily reporting. You need to select your keywords or your language accordingly, because you're competing or you're in the race with a professional.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Perfect. Anything else? I would love to answer the questions.
I will just add a point on the previous question. Actually, currently, right now on my second screen, I have some profiles of a couple of job posting, and I'm shortlisting like resumes. What I see, like there are some things that we see definitely, like Nitin also mentioned about a spelling mistake or a structural mistakes, and then you also talked about using the keywords, and definitely that helps a recruiter to look for a good profile, that okay, to get an idea, like everybody, like Sakshi mentioned that like how your profile gets at the bottom in Naukri, right? Same goes for Google Form also. So I do hiring via Google Forms. So I ask them to fill the form. So those who are a recent one, they will go at the bottom, and when I open the file, it goes at the top. Now shortlisting option is already there. Everywhere we have shortlisting option, but what I see here now, there are many out of total. Actually, out of total 750 applications that I got, I filtered out, I just kept only 75. And now out of 75, I am again looking for certain things. So how I filtered those, I had asked for a assignment. Instead of submitting the assignment, people submitted one certificate or one resume they submitted. Always see that what is being asked. Okay, submit that. Second thing, I see that okay, there are many people who are doing spelling mistakes. I believe Nitin also mentioned it, that college name. Now that matters because if a company is hiring for a especially front-end role, and they want you to be presentable, like your communication, your style should be presentable to the clients, to the users, end users. And also when it comes to like I believe the last question related to the last question, that was 0 to 4 years. Actually, companies are okay to hire a fresher. They look for a seriousness, if the person is serious or not. They look for stability. They try to predict the stability of the candidate. If a fresher is there, highly skilled and can be stable in this job, they will go for a fresher. Otherwise, they expect a professional who at least have at least 1 year of experience, so that that person is okay with continuous 7 to 8 hours of 7 to 8 working hours. Usually what happens, we graduate from college, we don't have any idea about the corporate culture, and we just take things easily. We do not take our work seriously. We take break like without any specific timing. We do not reply to messages, especially when it's a remote job. In COVID times, everything is working from home. So if you are not responsive, then that's what recruiters try to analyze. So 0 to 4 years is a very big range. But the idea here is that okay, company can go for a fresher also, if the person is serious and skilled enough. Otherwise, the company will prefer to hire a professional. So they go sidewise depending on what the candidate profile is, how the candidate is. So not just like our technical skills, the soft skills and these social, these things also do matter a lot. Yeah, so make note of that when you apply to a job.
Definitely make note of that, because if there is a team of 20 people into digital marketing under one manager, there are 20 people, all of them are not going to have the exact same level of understanding of the tools and be of exact performance. 18 of them would be good performers or great performers, but they also need a couple of people who can just communicate well with the clients, or who can be the face of the team, who can write good emails. Like there are 18 who are working on the tools in the background, but there need to be 1 or 2 people who will reply to the client by writing on the tool, checking in with them every day, going with them on a video call, explaining them that this was the bug that we rectified, or this was the report that we created. That's why it took 1 week extra for us to create. We had to explain them to the client. So they need a couple of people from that skill set also. And that's what you need to show.
Yes,
Sir,
completely agree. Yeah.
am I audible, sir?
Yes,
Yes, Suma.
Sir, I have a doubt. Sir, as ma'am told already, in Naukri and LinkedIn.com, we can refresh our profile so that it is coming up in the top. But in Google Forms, is it possible, sir? How we can make that one? Because I have also applied for VIP, sir. So, but if people, so many people have applied today, automatically those people's applications will be in the top and mine will go down. So how can I do the refreshment so that it can appear in the top, sir?
Okay, so I believe that question is from me, like for me. So okay, I will answer
Yes,
it.
sir.
Actually, see, those companies who are startups and actively hiring, then they usually go for all the profiles, usually. However, they apply some filters. They will not look for the most recent applications, but they will use filters. For example, maybe just for an example, you will see that in many companies, when they hire via Google, when they invite applications via Google form, they will mark it mandatory to upload resume, but they will have a question like, why should we hire you? And that question will be optional. It's a very tricky thing. They know, they would expect that those who are serious, they should spend some time on the application and write answer to that question. If you are not doing it, you will be filtered out. Although the question is optional, but companies expect that you should be serious in your application. If you are not, you will be filtered out. Again, I have on my screen, actually, I have a Google Sheet actually, and the current CTC I see 30,000, okay, per month, and expected is 60,000 per month. Entirely double, and experience of this candidate is actually how much? Okay, there are 4 different fonts have been used in the resume. Too confusing. Size difference is like there is no structure, and experience is 1.1 years. Okay, now 1.1 years is nothing. Either mention in actual months, or like just mention 1 year. So be serious in the application. Now, I'm not sure that if this candidate is going to get 60,000, like 100% range is going to get or not. So you have to be very realistic also, realistic and serious in the application. These things matter. In Google form, it's not about who applied first, who applied late. Maybe if you want to apply, you can apply again and again. Maybe after each, like you see that, okay, they have not responded, then maybe after some time you apply again or write an email to them. Maybe they will pay attention to the emails. But whatever you are doing, be serious and make sure that, okay, this is 100% from you. Yeah.
Got it, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, I guess Nitin forgot to ask this question that you're discussing, Pranav.
Yeah.
How many of all of you are good with web designing or maybe graphic designing? Is anybody interested in graphic designing here?
I'm interested in that, but
Yeah, not a
can
pro, not writing it in the CV, but not like a
I am in. I have experience in blogging by using HTML and CSS, but I can't. I have idea about graphic designing, but I can't use it. In the
great.
engineering days, I used to publish my pages through blogging only, so I have the knowledge about blogging. It's
Perfect.
related to graphics.
No, it's not needed. What I was trying to say is, do not show these skills, all these skills when you're making your CV.
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe use them in the CV or write about it in the CV. That's your choice. But
Just I used their blogging skills I have through the HTML and CSS.
so when you use your blogging skills, you try to play around with different kind of words, or sometimes even, when you're trying to make that beautiful picture, people try to work around with many different fonts or bullets, like colorful bullets, like the bullets that are not easily there working on a 2013 Windows. It may not be there. So you don't know that which laptop or which version of Windows or maybe Google Forms that this person is using while filtering out the CVs. If you have some weird fonts, some weird bullets, or some completely different formatting within the CV, the HR will not even be able to open your CV. And this HR who is getting late to get back home, whose wife is yelling in the background, he doesn't care about this job profile because he's not from this field. He's not going to be the operations manager or your manager. He's just an HR from a completely different field. He doesn't even know about your skill set, and he doesn't have the knowledge of your skill set. So he's not going to waste more time trying to open your CV through a different tool or through a different medium. He's just going to move on to the next candidate, because for him, the first person is same as the second person and the same as the third person. So try to use the most generic fonts, the most general fonts, bullets. If there are any graphics, although don't use graphics in the CV, maybe use that. Some people create portfolio. Maybe use that within the portfolio, the graphics and the different kind of fonts, but not in the CV, not in the cover letter, not in the email that you're writing them. Use the most simple language, the most basic language that can be opened by anyone, understood by anyone. That's very much helpful. Perfect. Please keep on poking in and asking more questions if you have any. Yes,
Ma'am,
Pranav.
I have a question.
Yes.
Ma'am, whom should we approach, to HR or manager?
Well, the job or the responsibility of posting this job on any profile or any portal, whether it's LinkedIn or Naukri or any other portal, the responsibility of creating this job opening is always the HR's job. It's not the operations manager who is managing a team of 20 people within the digital marketing team. It's not his job to post that job profile or that job opening on the social media platform. It's the HR who's going to post it, not the ops manager. Because see, for you, it's digital marketing. So maybe you think that the digital marketing manager is going to post it. He has the technical skills, but sometimes the opening may be from a finance background, or maybe from a completely different background where the ops manager doesn't even know how to open Naukri.com and how to upload these profiles. It's not his job to find another. Okay, it's his job to find the other candidate, take the interviews also. But to get them to the interview table or to that virtual meeting of the interview, that's the job of the HR. He's hiring or she's hiring. So although we are not covering the interview skill set here, but your first point of contact is going to be the HR or the consultant if you're going through a consultant, but they will also connect you with the HR. You are going to meet the ops manager in the second or the third round, not the first phone call or not the first email. So that's why you need to keep the simple language, because the HR is from an HR background or from a marketing background, and they do not know anything about your skill set or your languages. He doesn't know the nitty-gritties of the Excel or the Tableau dashboards that you have mentioned that have worked so beautifully on these many things. They don't know anything about all of this. They understand simple English, HRs, and that's how you need to talk to them. Good communication for the HR only. Once it comes to the ops manager will probably not care about communication. They will, it's not like they will, ignore the communication. No, they will not ignore it, but that will not be their primary concern. Their primary concern will be your knowledge of your domain. But we will cover that some other day in the interview sessions on how to work in the interviews or how to present yourself in the interviews, how much to talk, how much to keep withhold or not to speak, what to say to the HR and what not to say to the HR. There are things that we need to hide.
Definitely, we can also look into that. Let's maybe we can try one more session focused only on the interview tips. Because here we have some working professionals as well as like in the batch, as well as some who are the students, and they are actively looking for jobs. That's what we have got their profile. And then for interviews, we can have one session and maybe take some mock interviews as well. We will see how it goes. Okay.
Good. Definitely.
Guys, any question that you may have? I believe most of the things were like all your questions were answered, and many things have been covered. And sorry for this session got extended, but good to see that it got extended because of your questions. So I do welcome such extensions. If no further question, we can close the call. And yes, like I mentioned that let's hope that we can arrange one more session on the interview tips. Okay. So thank you, Sakshi, and
thank you
for the tips. Please thank Nitin also. And
sorry, thank you, sir.
And thanks everybody for joining the session. I know it's a Sunday, and in the morning also you had 2 hours of session. Then again here also 2 hours. Sorry to ruin your weekend. Right. So enjoy. Have a nice rest of the day, and bye bye.
All right. Take care, everyone. Thank you. See you all. Bye bye. Bye, Pranav. See you.
Yeah. Bye bye. Thanks.
Thank you.